Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Ashley and I'm so happy that you're here. We're just gonna hop right into this. We are getting to my October wrap up. Cheers for me that I'm doing it earlier than I did last month. But yeah, we're just gonna run through the things that I read last month. I had 9 completed books, so this could take a while. Grab you something to drink, get comfy, and let's just hop right in to my thoughts. Okay, I've been thinking a little bit about how I wanted to go about the wrap up this month. Last month, I did from highest rated books to my lowest rated books, but I think I'm going to reverse that from the books that I gave no rating up to my 5-star reads. I just want to say that my rating the books is nothing towards like the author or even the book itself. It's mainly based on how I felt about the book, like the vibe the book gave me. Because I realize that not every book is for me, and that is no knock to the author. This books that I may not like, others love, and that's fine. That's the magic of books. So, um, just wanted to put that little disclaimer out there, but we're just going to hop right into this thing with, I don't want to say the first book that I finished last month. It took me probably 2 weeks to get through it. I'm not going to talk too much about it because the author is in hot water right now. I don't want to promote too much, but all I'm going to say is that I finished it, and that book is Under the Whispering Door by TJ Klune. I am not the person to give an update on what this author has done and how their work is contributing to hurt of a certain population. But I do encourage you to look up the issues around TJ Klune. So the first book that I finished in October is called Nero, and it is the first book in the Alliance series by S.J. Tilley, and I rated this book 2 stars. This book was marketed on TikTok by as a stalker romance, and while it was that, it was not for me. I felt like the story was rushed, and I didn't care for either character. It follows a woman named Peyton who has had a rough past. She's very poor, barely making ends meet, and a man, Nero, happens to climb her balcony one night when he is running from the police. And for him, it's instant fireworks and attraction. For her, it's obviously fear and mingled with attraction. He walks away. She continues living her daily life, thinking about him, but he's still kind of following her around the city. And it's basically a story of how they come together. He's a bad guy and in a bad world. When his involvement with her puts Peyton in the forefront of his enemies' minds, he has to protect her. And I mean, it's very much forced proximity from that point. But for me, it just felt like Nero bossed Peyton around a lot, and that she really, at one point, after she just consented to being with him, it was like he was running her entire life. She had really no say so, and, things that happen. And the one time that she did make a decision, it ended badly. I don't know. This book just did not do it for me. And I read it very quickly thinking that, oh, we were going to get more, and it fell short. And it just left me wanting more, but not in a good way. So the next book I'm going to be talking about today is A Heart for Valentine's Day. I did rate this book 3 stars and I enjoyed it. It was just okay. The book follows Adora, whose sister is ill, and is determined to do anything possible to make sure that her sister has a fighting chance of living. She needs a heart transplant, and um, when the healthcare system has failed her, she has decided to take things into her own hands and look for help on the black market, basically, which is how she meets Abel. It's interesting because he helps her and there's a bargain, but the bargain for her is not necessarily with him. He's just like the liaison between her and the black market. But then we see things happen where she has to lean on Abel to help, and he does. But he also has this weird revenge feel towards her. I don't want to give too much away, but it's like you watch these two people clearly falling for each other, and her feelings are genuine. His feelings are genuine, but he's also a monster who is like moving puzzle pieces behind her back. And I'm just going to say it, this book has betrayal in it, and I'm normally okay. I can handle betrayal. It's not going to say it's my favorite thing because it's not, but the betrayal is not almost, the betrayal is too much and not necessary. This male main character just wanted this female main character to be completely dependent upon him and have no thoughts or job or responsibility of her own. And that to me is why the betrayal was just way too much. And then with the level of the betrayal and the amount of groveling we get after that, if you're going to do a betrayal that big, I need at least a chapter's worth of groveling and not a few pages worth, which this was a very short book. It was supposed to be a quick read. It took me a little bit to get through it, but I know because it was short, it was moving fairly quickly, but I just needed more. I needed more on your knees, begging, sending gifts. I needed more. So the next book that we will be talking about today, I rated a 4.5, and that is American Queen by Sierra Simone. This book follows Greer, who is raised as a political princess, pretty much. Her grandfather, who raised her, was a former vice president. And this is a story that kind of has a dual timeline where you see some scenes in the past. And the biggest thing is she was told to save her kisses to herself, but the 2 times she gave her kisses away ended up tying basically 2 people to her later on in life. And this book basically, you see all 3 people come together and how their lives are intertwined, the madness that ensues. I did do a whole reading vlog on this book, so I probably will not talk too much about it. I did like this book. Obviously, I gave it a 4.5 stars. It did not have me ready to run and jump into the next one. I do plan to read the next 2 books in the trilogy because the second one is the point of view that I am a little more anxious to see. That point of view is of Emory, who is the current vice president. And then the last book is of the president. I believe his name was Maxon. For some reason, she calls him something else. I can't remember, but I know the third one is in his POV, maybe sprinkle of the other 2, but I do plan to finish it. The trilogy. This was my first Sierra Simone book, I believe. This was a lot. The spice rating on this, I would probably give a 3.5 or 4, like chili pepper rating, because all gas, no break. The last thing I'm going to say about this book, and I think I said it in the vlog when I was reading it, this was one of the first like romance books that I actually paid attention to the world building, and I think a lot of it has to do with like the circumstances of the political landscape. But the world building in this romance was very engaging, and the plot is was great. The plot really did keep you invested the whole time, and the spice was just the cherries, multiple cherries on top. But yeah, I would definitely recommend this book if you like books that have political intrigue and second chance romance and a heavy dose of spice. The next 4.5 star book that I rated was Pucking Around by Emily Rath. And again, this is another book that I talked about in a vlog maybe 2 weeks ago. I enjoyed this book so much. It was just so much fun. And I had it downloaded on my Kindle for quite some time. And I just let it sit there because I knew it was 700 pages. And I was like, there's no way in the world I'm going to be able to read a book that size as fast as I would like to. But I was completely wrong. I was engulfed in this story from page one because I read the prequel novella that is following the female main character and one of the male main characters in the overarching story. So I was very invested and ready to just hop right into it and find out how those two were going to come together and what was going to happen. Each character had their own story. They had their own plot line where in each character's head, you see their insecurities, you see the things that they love. You're really experiencing four different people, which is wild. But to see the bond and to see them come together and to see how everything just works out for the best. It is one of those books where I was on the edge of my seat because I know when characters are holding secrets, whether it be from the people in their inner circle or that inner circle holding secrets from people in their everyday world. I'm just waiting for the other shoe to drop and for the secrets to come out. That had me a little antsy because I'm like, I don't want to see anybody get outed. Everybody should have the opportunity to come out and say what they have to say, how they want to say it. But things really just were on thin ice for a little bit. There was no third act breakup. But yeah, this book was really cute. It was good. This is one that the TikTok girlies got right. Okay, so the next two books that I'm going to be talking about, I gave 5 stars, and they are both in the Pucking Around world. So both of these books are also by Emily Rath. The first one is That One Night, and that is the prequel to Pucking Around, and it follows 2 main characters. This book follows Rachel and Jake and how they first met. Both of them are on neutral territory because Rachel is in town for her brother's wedding. Jake is in town to meet up with his sister. Due to family drama, Rachel had to leave the wedding festivities early, and Jake's sister missed her flight, could not come into town. So they happen upon each other in a bar, and their little meet cute is so cute, and decide to spend a night together. And this book, this novella follows that. And I really enjoyed it. You get dual POV, both people who are just going into this situation knowing what it is, and both want to get to be more, but walking away, leaving the reader for more. It was just so good. It was a 5-star. I was laughing, smiling, giggling, kicking my feet throughout the whole read. So that's why I gave that novella 5 stars and quickly jumped into Pucking Around after finishing that novella. The next book that I gave 5 stars is Pucking Ever After, which is the part one novella. Emily Rath has said that the Pucking Ever After novella is going to be a series. So this is part one, following Rachel, Jake, Mars, and Caleb and their four, count them, their happily ever after. And it was really cute. It was cute to see. I'm a person that I like babies and epilogues. So seeing the big happy family grow more, you see how the four of them have gotten closer over time. You see into the future of um, everybody in their everyday life accepting this lifestyle that they have chosen for themselves. It was really cute. I feel like it was a perfect bow on top of the Price family story. And so that's why I gave it 5 stars. I don't want to give too much away because you need to read the first two, and just know that Pucking Ever After Part 1 is just a nice tie up to how the four of their stories end. Okay, so my next 5-star read, and the only other physical book that I read in the month of October, is Practice Makes Perfect by Sarah Adams. And I love this book. I ate it up. It was so good. And I knew it would be, because When in Rome was even, I would say this was better than When in Rome. I can't even get my words out. This was better than When in Rome. I love a grumpy sunshine, and that's what we got right here. This book follows Annie Walker, a flower shop owner, and Will Griffin, a bodyguard. And Annie has asked Will to help her be more confident in dating, because she feels like once she finds her husband and has true love, that everything will be right in the world. And Will feels like she doesn't have to change, that she is perfect just the way that she is, but he does not want anybody else to try to help her be more confident. So he steps in and accepts that job. Both of them go into it knowing that, or feeling like, the other is not the one for them, that their own really insecurities keeps them from the other person. So you see them dancing around this chemistry and attraction, and I loved all the practice moments, the kisses, and just watching these two fall in love with each other. And it's definitely a situation where he falls first and harder. I will definitely say she has a crush, but he falls, and then her crush turns into more. They are both so open. That was my favorite part about this. Even though they knew what their situation was, he was helping her. They were practicing, they were spending a lot of time together, and obviously being around somebody for quite a bit of time, you start to fall for them. And they never held back that they had feelings for each other, but they both were very conscious that it wasn't right for them to have feelings for each other, just because of Will's career and the type of man that Annie felt like she should have had. There was no miscommunication. Everything was right up front. They were just making decisions based on feeling like they weren't good enough, off their insecurities. So it was all that much sweeter when you get to the end. There's one point at the end that I was not crazy about. I'm not going to say it here because it would be a spoiler. But I could have done without that. But other than that, I loved it. 5 stars again for Miss Sarah Adams. I have another book by her that I do plan to read. If I give that a high rating, I'm not going to say 5 because who knows? But if it is a highly rated book, then that will put Miss Sarah Adams on my auto buy author list, and not like I need any more of those. But I am so excited for the next book that comes out in this series, and I do plan to continue reading her backlist. This is what I want when I say rom-com. When I say I want a rom-com romance, this is what I want. This is it. This is how you get me to read romance with no smut is this. This is the equation. The last book that we will be talking about in this video is What Was Meant to Be by QB Tyler. 5 stars. Literally 0 notes, okay? Now, this may bring some judgment to me, and I will accept that judgment. Just be nice about it. This is my first QB Tyler book, and it is a taboo romance. It is Dad's Best Friend. This book follows Whitney and JP, and I don't even really know how much I want to give away about this book. All I can say is I would only this type of relationship is only acceptable in a fictional consenting book. It was a book that kept me literally on the edge of my seat because I was always looking over my shoulder, over the character's shoulder, trying to figure out when and how these two are going to get caught, because we are reckless, we are careless, we are in love, we are doing whatever we wanted to do without really even a thought of other people that this could be affecting. This is a second chance romance, and I don't know how you all feel about keeping your characters' secrets, but I was ready to shout from the rooftop by the time the secret was revealed. I know this book is not for everybody, but it was for me. I enjoyed it. Again, I don't know how much I can or want to give away, because if you're going to read this book, I want you to experience every emotion that I experienced reading this book. I loved all of the characters outside of Miss Whitney's fiance that she had at the beginning of this book. But everything else, I just felt like the book was written well. It was set up very well and knocked out of the park, if I must say so myself. Again, this is my first QB Tyler book. I already have my next one downloaded. I am going to just march my way through her little backlist. She is an Apolycon author, and I'm going to Apolycon this year, so I hope that I get the chance to meet her. But yes, if you don't mind taboo romances and you don't mind an age gap romance, pick this book up and just have fun. That's what we're here for. We're gonna live in Delulu land with this book, because that's where it belongs. Nice, good fun. All right, that is going to wrap up all 9 books that I got through this month. Please let me know if you read any of the books that I mentioned. If you plan to read it, did I convince you to add anything to your TBR? Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and share, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye!